We got more Assassin's Creed Mirage story-related news coming from several different sources, and in this video we're going to discuss all of them, starting with a look at Basim's story, some new details, a focus on which parts of it will be linear or open, and the mention of an officially released but pretty spoilery detail and the consequences it might have on the overall narrative of the game, before moving on to some more news on the modern day and Isu parts of the story, some seemingly ill-fated news on Basim's eagle Enkidu, and way more. So let's not wait any longer and let's dive into the recent Assassin's Creed Mirage news. Before we start, we'd like to make a little announcement. We are launching memberships here on the Access the Animus YouTube channel. Through 2 specific tiers, you'll be able to get access to a number of perks including loyalty badges, new emojis bearing my ugly face, thanks Harry, special roles and an exclusive channel on our Discord server, early access to some of our videos before they go live, and much more. Your support will help us create better and more efficient content, and we hope the memberships will also provide you with a better and more exciting experience with us at Access the Animus as we continue marching on our 10th year of activity. And now, let's get into the Assassin's Creed Mirage story news. So, we do know that in terms of narrative, the devs decided to have a more linear story within the game, as it happened with the early games of the franchise. The intro to the game will be linear, featuring a modern day scene, possibly the only one in the game, then the experience will focus on Basim's story. As it was cleared out in the recent dev diary, the historical portion of the game will start in 861 AD in the city of Anbar, where we are going to see street thief Basim being saved by Roshan after his attempt at an act of deadly retribution, which also involves some slaps by a rich person that we believe to be Caliph al-Mutawakil. After that, Basim is taken to Alamut to train as a Hidden One and start his journey within the Brotherhood, moving to Baghdad to eradicate the Order of the Ancients from the city. Once again, in all of this, the narrative will keep being linear up until the first main target assassination, as stated by creative director Stefan Boudon in the recent AMA on Reddit. After that, the game will open up the city to the player with the 3 remaining main targets scattered within it, who can be hunted in any order, with the story at some point going back to a more linear approach, as reported on IGN, I suppose until the end of the game. Additionally, narrative director Sarah Beaulieu stated that the game will have one ending and one ending only, because quote-unquote the evolution of Basim is very specific and it has to lead to the other Assassin's Creed games, especially Valhalla. As we already mentioned in other videos, the theme of struggle and conflict will be at the core of the several narrative layers within Mirage. In an interview with geekculture.co, Beaulieu said that Basim is torn between the Brotherhood and this part of him which craves for another kind of freedom. I like the possibilities that the fight between the Hidden Ones and the Order of the Ancients provides in terms of supporting the theme of freedom, and I think that this is mysterious enough to try and understand if it just wants to be as free as possible as Ali and Nihal seem to be pushing him to be, or whether the other kind of freedom is actually being able to overcome all the pain that life is bringing him through the knowledge, memories, and feelings of the Isu Loki. Moreover, this conflict between following the orders of the Brotherhood to fight for freedom and looking for a more personal freedom as suggested by his friends and allies will likely raise the tension between Basim, Roshan, and the Brotherhood itself, which may be one of the main possible reasons why, and potential spoilers here so you're warned, Basim might actually end up killing some fellow assassins, as mentioned in the recently released ESRB rating, which interestingly enough has since been edited to remove this exact bit, but it obviously was too late. Of course, this could mean a range of things. This could be about Basim killing a defector Hidden One, or it could be an assassin with a lowercase a, as in a killer or murderer lurking in Baghdad. But of course, knowing the amount of struggle that Basim will have to go through in the game, the first thing that comes to mind is that Basim might actually kill another member of the Brotherhood, out of his own mind and intention. Maybe this is the line that Basim will cross that will pit him against Roshan, as it was mentioned back in September. Maybe this is the quote-unquote something bad that happens after becoming a master assassin that art director Jean-Luc Salat told us in an exclusive interview last year.
That's the beginning of it. So he's skilled, he's fresh, he's young, and he's going to be part of the assassin path. Okay. So going to a certain place, we can discuss perhaps later, being trained by a mentor, being an apprentice, showing his able, and then becoming a master, and then something bad happens.
As usual, I guess we'll see how that pans out. It does look like Basim's story in Mirage might turn darker than we expect. Of course, the story of the game will also delve into Basim's internal struggle with the memories of the Isu Loki and his evolution into the completely different character that is Basim in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. When asked by Game Informer about how Mirage will manage Basim being the reincarnation of Loki, narrative director Sarah Beaulieu said that Mirage will actually handle that revelation in some way, but of course didn't say how. Instead, she said Mirage will indeed show how Basim goes from the street thief to assassin, and then he's going to quote-unquote evolve into something else, which I guess is the Basim we have seen in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. We already touched upon this, but the modern day within the game will only be present in the introduction of the game, where it is basically shown that the player is still in the Animus and that that's where Basim's story originates. Another element that will show that we are still within the Animus boundaries is the synchronization and the classic warnings that are going to appear should Basim kill too many innocents in a safe area. But apart from that, that's pretty much about it. So while there isn't going to be much modern day content in Mirage, it was instead confirmed in an interview with WCCFtech.com and also in the recent AMA that there is going to be some narrative involving the Isu in the game, which is something that we could already expect considering that Basim is a reborn Isu bearing the memories of the Isu Loki, and also knowing that a small Isu temple containing several First Civilization memory seals is located underneath Alamut. Nonetheless, narrative director Sarah Beaulieu cited quote-unquote new elements related to the Isu, so I guess we can expect even more content in that regard. Before we wrap the video up, there are 3 story elements we wanted to tackle today, and the first concerns severed fingers and hidden blades. While we have seen that Assassin's Creed Mirage is going to feature a ceremony for the severing of Basim's ring finger as part of his initiation into the Hidden Ones, narrative director Sarah Beaulieu in an interview with WCCFtech.com didn't want to comment on Basim potentially losing the other ring finger in order to have and wield 2 hidden blades, if only because he still has his other ring finger in Valhalla, but she commented that we'll see something interesting about this topic nonetheless, so we should still keep an eye out for that in the game. In the same interview, Beaulieu confirmed that the Banu Musa brothers, the renowned historical characters and inventors in Baghdad at the time, will be portrayed in Mirage as fun, historical inventors and engineers that will be part of the Hidden Ones and will help Basim by providing him with the assassin's tools, pretty much confirming that the character we saw in the demo, Abu Ja'far, is actually one of the 3 famous brothers, and thus we're going to see the other 2 brothers in a similar fashion. And finally, the story information we really didn't expect to get. When asked if the presence of the eagle Enkidu in Mirage is going to have a meaning story-wise, Beaulieu stated that the relationship between him and Basim would be important, which could mean pretty much anything, and to be honest, it's been 6 years with 3 main games featuring a character with their eagle and their relationship, while the reason why these main characters can see through their eagle's eyes has never really been explained. So I don't have huge expectations this is going to happen with Mirage, but still, as hinted at by the narrative director in the recent Reddit AMA, the game will explain why Basim does not have an eagle in Valhalla, and I guess we'll see if that is going to just be the 2 of them parting ways because Basim changes at the end of the game, or Enkidu doesn't recognize him anymore when he starts being consumed by Loki's memories, or if things actually turn for the worse, which might also be a reason why Enkidu does not appear in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So yes, we'll see how that pans out with our eagle, with Basim's story, and even this spoilery news about him potentially killing some fellow assassins as the story news keep dropping as we get closer and closer to Mirage's release on October the 12th, and indeed some of the most interesting ones were dropped during the recent dev diary, for which we have prepared a full breakdown that you can find on screen right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in our next video.